Hello everyone, it's Ash here, and today in this video I want to talk about Crypto, a character from Apex Legends. Now first off, I want to say this off the bat, I'm not, me personally, a big Battle Royale player. I enjoy like casual playing here and there and playing a game, but I'm like nowhere near the top ranks or anything like that, so these thoughts and suggestions are coming just from someone like me, someone who enjoys more RPG type game genre than shooters. That being said though, I do want to point out that this is also someone who has played Apex since it first launched on Xbox, and it is someone who has been playing constantly throughout the seasons. I am just not someone who I enjoy battle royales and I enjoy playing Apex Legends, but I'm nowhere near like playing in the top ranks or anything. So I do understand there is a difference between casual play and ranked play. So these are just my thoughts as a casual player. I just want to point that out and put it out there because the thoughts and opinions and the ideas that I have may buff and balance crypto in a casual play, but in top ranked it could change dramatically. So I just want to point that out real quick before we start. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So to start, I do love crypto. I just want to put that out. Like, I find his kit fun and his overall character is really impressive to me. My issue, however, is the way his abilities are used in the game. I think they should change just due to them being too close to Bloodhound, which is another tactical character in the game. See, my issue is that like with Pathfinder and Bloodhound, where they're already both in the game, and they both were considered trackers, yet they both offered, each of them offered unique skills to themselves. You know, Pathfinder allowed you to find inner zone to find excellent spawns to set up, or you could use his ult to either reposition yourself or escape from the ring that closing in. I've seen a lot of stuff like that where you use I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. Basically, his grappling hook, I think it's called, where to help you in fights to reposition yourself, and the same with his ult or escaping the ring if it's moving in too quickly. Now with Bloodhound, he was the same, where he offered unique ways to play the game. He offered you to track components, offered you to do quick scans to find their positions, and it basically allowed you to hunt them before they could hunt you. And each of them offer their own unique. Basically, they each brought something to the table that was unique to them. So, what I want to do is that, in my opinion, with their ults, I want the change to be where the ult is perfect for both offensive or defensive moves. Because in my opinion, any ult that can be used for both offensive and defensive maneuvers is a perfect one in my book. My issue with Crypto, however, is that he's just too similar to Bloodhound. Both are about tracking other players. Like Crypto, use your drone to figure out how many threats you're dealing with by scanning the banners to figure out how many enemy squads are nearby, and trying to get the drop on them before they get the drop on you. I honestly, in my opinion, feel they need to change Crypto because in my experience, using the drone effectively is a double-edged sword. What I mean is that you can safely offer your team full awareness of a fight by scanning other targets, but then because you're in your drone, it's a 2 versus 3 or a 1 versus 2 depending on your game mode that you are playing that are currently in the game. In the game right now, there are duos and there are trios, which means that you can either play with a squad of 3 or a squad of 2. You could join the fight with your drone already out and about with it already scanning targets, but you risk the chance of your drone being destroyed, losing the awareness and the advantage you can give to your team. Meanwhile, with Bloodhound, you can only scan someone currently in the game, and currently this is in the game where his cooldown is that he can scan, where they can scan someone, sorry, every 25 seconds, both in and out of their ult. But during his ult, he can scan multiple times, and I believe it's once every 5 seconds, and his ultimate lasts, I believe, 25 seconds. And on top of that, if he gets a knockdown or a kill while it's about to end, then he gets an extra 5 seconds. Or, I'm sorry, I keep saying he because of the voice. It's masked because I'm used to calling him him. They can use their ult a lot more effectively, in my opinion, than crypto. And in my opinion, it's just, like, a lot more effective in a fight than crypto's. So these are some of the suggestions to make crypto a better tracker type character, while also making him more unique to himself, than offer the same benefits as one would take with Bloodhound. So first off, I want to talk about, we'll go through the order with the passive, his ability, and then with his ultimate. So first off, I want to talk about Crypto's passive. In my opinion, it's fine in how it is. I don't have any issue with it, or I think it needs really a buff. The only thing I would like to do is I would like to add a mechanic to it. This mechanic, with reviews of like the Matrix, with other genres that have to do with hacking and everything. This is, in my opinion, based off some of the stuff we found in his trailer and with his finishers and other data, that this is what I would use. So I call it data wipe, which data wipe allows crypto to hack a enemy death box, sorry, stealing its respawn chip for his own personal use. If a player's respawn chip is stolen, the team whose friendly player, so basically the if you're playing in a team and one of your friends dies, right? If crypto goes to his death box, he will steal his data chip. So in order to get that back, you have to either kill crypto or you have to loot his death box, taking the data chip back. And these chips will allow crypto to use special kind of hacks and fix the game, meaning that he'll like hack the game itself to his own team's advantage. And we can talk more about that when we go into his drone. So with his drone, in my personal opinion, I would like a full rework of it. What I want to do is make it more unique, more to coding and hacking, because that's one of the key features around crypto. We saw him coding in his trailer, and I don't want to, in case no one wants a spoiler, in one of the locations you go to, you can actually find him coding onto a computer and hacking and trying to find information. And so I want a full rework of it so that it has to deal more with coding and hacking than tracking other players. And I would like to make the drone more useful outside of combat as well, while also providing Crypto and his team with extra buffs for when he's in a fight. So first, let's talk about the effect of the drone and how we can change how we use it to our own advantage. So first, I would like to change first how the drone is pulled out in a fight. With this, I would like to take inspiration from Mirage and make Crypto's drone similar with the same mechanics how he has it. So, in my own opinion, how I imagine how it would work is, now depending on what Crypto uses his drone on, meaning what button you click for your system that you use to play. So, sorry, let me backtrack. So with me on Xbox, I press LB for Mirage, for example, to send out a decoy. So for Crypto, I would like the same mechanic. For now, instead of you pressing LB and he does that whole animation pulling out his drone, I like to make it where you press LB and the drone will fly to the location or to the item that you have clicked on. And with this, depending on what Crypto clicks on, will change what hack he will do. These hacks will help him benefit the team while also being able to let him stay in the fight. So these are the following hacks or examples I thought that he could have. He could hack a door, opening them or closing them. He could hack a loot crate, opening them. He can hack a friendly player's death box, grabbing the respawn chip for him. Or he can hack a respawn beacon, bringing back teammates. Before I continue, already Crypto can already pick up players' respawn chips, and he can bring them back with the respawn beacons with his drone. What I mean by this is, now instead of him having to use the drone to go there and pick it up, what I mean is that now he can just click on it with his drone button, and the drone will fly there to the death box, pick it up, and then the drone will fly back, and that'll be on like cooldown, let's say for like 10 to 15 seconds. And then instead of him having to go all the way to the respawn beacon, he could just send his drone there, and then his drone will fly there, respawn them, and then it'll fly back, and then it'll be on cooldown. And what I'm thinking is that if the drone does its job successfully and flies back, it'll be on cooldown. And it'll be on a short cooldown, like, or maybe around mirages or maybe less. But if it's destroyed, it'll be on the long cooldown that it's on right now, which I believe it's 40 seconds. So with these hacks, along with that, finally after one of the hacks is initiated, or after crypto just clicks the ground, I was thinking the drone can drop a special type of device. Now this device can be changed for balance reasons, of course, but I was thinking it can do a pulse that's within a certain range, maybe 20 meters or so, that'll let you know how many enemy players are nearby. This can either be a full scan, like how you would normally do with Bloodhound, or it could be as if someone shot a mirage decoy and it could only ping how many, like where they are and that. The meters of the range of how it would go can change, of course, for balance reasons. If scanned, however, I would assume that it would last the same time as Bloodhound scan, and the same as well, like I said, with Mirage Decoy, where for, I believe it's 2 seconds, where the person's location is pinged. So along with this, I want to backtrack just a little bit. With Crypto's additional passive beta wipe, we can talk about him stealing players' chips. So I got this idea from the finishers that are currently in the game with Crypto. With one, he's stealing a chip from a dead player, and another, he scans them and then gives them like a quick whack across the head with his drone. With these two in mind, I thought back to Crypto's origin trailer and how that he was a skilled coder and possible hacker, but we don't see much of that in the game. With these hacks, the changes will greatly help him in a fight and outside of it. Along with that, the hacks listed before, I've added additional ones that he can do. However, these hacks will require a special currency, the chips of enemy players, that he can now collect. So what I mean by that is that with every player that you kill, and their death box will pop up, you can now loot them, and when you do, you will collect their respawn chip. You can use these chips now for special hacks that are more on an offensive mood. And keep in mind that this type of playstyle is more for someone who's engaging fights than someone who's only picking certain ones. So what I mean by that is, if you're someone who tends to try to avoid fights, loot up, and prepare for the final ring, this sort of character, if this was reworked this way, wouldn't work for you. Because while you don't really need the chips, they offer a great advantage if you do. And keep in mind, with these chips, while with the following hacks, while they do cost a lot, you can collect a lot as you do more and more battles. Like, for example, in mine, when we got to the final ring, by the end of it, I had gotten 5 kills, someone had gotten 6, and someone had gotten 4. So by then, that's already over 10 different chips I already collected, all from the final ring. So with that in mind, let's go on to the special hacks. So with these are the following special hacks that I thought Crypto could have. The first one is that you hack the next crafting machine or the resupply machine, hacking its code and giving your team a 10 to 30% discount. This would take between 1 to 3 chips, each chip giving a 10% discount. This hack, however, will not take your chips, but it can only affect one crafting station or a resupply station. I believe it's called a resupply station. It can only affect one of them at a time. And if you hack a station, then it can give a discount to other enemy players. That, or I was thinking it would give a disadvantage to enemy players, making them have a negative discount of 10 to 30%. Meaning that while for you'll get a 10 to 30 discount, they would have to pay either a 10 to 30% extra. So with this is one of those special hacks that are useful outside of combat, giving your team extra advantage when you're preparing for a fight. So next, we could talk about hacking loot. Specifically, I want to go more into loot crates, care packages, or a death box. What this hack will do is that it will make it refresh whatever you're hacking with new loot. In all cases, however, loot refresh will scale off your current armor. This mechanic specifically was added so that in the beginning, You can't give your team, for example, legendary items as you just first drop into the game. But you can still offer decent loot depending on how far you are in the game. Meaning that with starting off, you could give only, if you only have white armor, for example, you can only give like basic common items. But by the end, when you're in the final ring, if you have, example, purple or red armor, then there's a chance that you could give your team legendary armor, stuff like that. That's the example that I want to give. So with this, how it would work is that loot crates would cost 1 chip, care packages you have would cost 3, and death boxes would cost 5. These chips, however, are consumed. This is Crypto's second hack to help him outside a fight, helping the team to prepare for the next fight that's coming. With the first set of hacks that I have talked about here, these hacks will allow Crypto to be more stronger outside of combat and helping the team get prepared for the next fight, versus helping in combat. Those were the ones that we were talking about originally. So, with these hacks versus with the initial ones that are more during combat, and these ones I've just listed now outside of combat. With these both set of type of hacks, they will let Crypto be more stronger in combat and outside of combat. And it would also help the team tweak the system to their advantage. So, now let's talk and move on to Crypto's ultimate. With these hacks added to Crypto's Drone's ability, it feels right to add to his ultimate as well. With the ultimate itself, it's good, it's good, and it's unique. But I would like to add variety to it, just so that it has potential in almost every different type of situation. With that in mind, I would like to add mechanic upgrades to the ult. These upgrades would allow you to hack your drone or even a teammate's chip, increasing the strength of your team. These unique hacks will allow you to activate special AI programs that allow you to help in one of 3 ways, providing you more ways to help your team win the fight. How these programs would work is like Crypto's ult, you would press the button to enter in the drone or outside of it. However, now when you activate your ultimate button, or press it I mean, now you will get the option to choose one of 3 AI programs to activate, changing how the ult is used dramatically. Here are the AI programs that I had in mind with this concept. So the first AI program I thought of is called AI program.doc, which is the robot code from Lifeline, which is her dock drone. This AI program was copied after Crypto used Lifeline's robot drone to charge his phone, which is seen in one of his, I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's basically what your character does before the fight happens. We see him look around, make sure no one's looking, and then hack into the drone to charge his phone. So after seeing this, and I saw a potential here that with Crypto, how that would work is that seeing the potential the drone had, after charging his phone and copying the data, he combined it with his drone's AI to give his team an advantage in the next fight. So now, when Crypto uses his EMP, not only will it break enemy players' shields, but it also will affect teammates, restoring their own shields by 50%. Crypto's shields will no longer break and will be restored as well, but he still will get the slow effect if he uses his EMP and he's in the radius. So, in case shields are already full, I was thinking if players' shields are already full, they will instead be affected by green mist that shoots out during the EMP, restoring their health instead by 50%. However, if both their shields and their health are full, then teammates will instead be filled with an electrical current, making them shoot faster, which will last for 5 seconds. And then finally, if the teammates are dead, and their death box are within the range of the EMP, this will instead drop a totem similar to Reverence. However, activating this totem, for you Crypto meaning, that will allow you to respawn your team at the current location. The program currently with this is more of a support program, giving your team advantage if you're losing a fight, or if you need an extra boost. This, however, is really useful if you don't have a mobile respawn beacon, and the next one is really far. The next respawn beacon is really far. So this will be useful because then instead of having to need a mobile respawn beacon, or if you already used one, you can just use the totem right there. And this is also useful because if you're in a cave or if you're in a building, this totem would allow you to respawn your team right there. Now, the next program I would like to talk about is the EMP program, which stands for Electrical Magnetic Pulse. And this program is a more hostile version of Crypto's base program right now with the EMP. It is meant to take no prisoners alive and leave no one left to ask questions. This program would make Crypto's drone do its regular EMP, but instead of one big pulse, it will now do 3 small pulses over time, effectively making the ult last longer, giving your team more time to move in, while also giving them more time for the fight. The pulse, however, because it does more stuff over time, it will not only do 20 shield damage instead of I believe it's 50 in one pulse. It will now do 20 shield damage with every pulse. And now the pulse will only do one soul effect instead of, I think it's about like around 3 seconds. Because of how strong it is, Crypto might need, for balance reasons, to lose the ability to scan enemies during this type of ultimate. This ultimate in mind is more an offensive one. And the reason I came up with this kind of hack is because from past experience, when you're in constant combat, you really don't have any time to pull out your drone. Well, if it is already set up in position, you could, right in the middle of a fight, use your ultimate to be dangerous and cause your team to have an advantage. If they are in the effect, it could cause a slow effect and it could cause a disadvantage to your team. Because if you're in the drone and you're setting off the EMP, then that is one person that is not helping shooting down the enemy. And with this AI, it's more an offensive one to help you give that advantage. With the change, now instead of having to go into your drone and use the ultimate, now what you could do instead is that you can click somewhere for your drone to fly to, then press your ultimate button, choose the AI, and while the drone is there, it will set off the ultimate. The final program that I was thinking is that he could have a program called SAC, which means Suspend All Combat. This program is more a defensive program that I had in mind. The EMP will now cause an electrical discharge of energy within its right now radius. However, thanks to experimentation and coding and a little electrical magic from Watson, the discharge will now create a bubble for the radius within the discharge. You and allies within the bubble will feel charged, using items 20% faster. Enemies, however, who cross into the bubble will have their location pinged for a moment, which means 1 second, and of course scanned if they're within the drone's sight. They will also use items 20% slower. This program is meant as a good defensive strategy, letting you set up a protective area, be it if you're looting with your team or when you're setting up for a fight. Be warned, however, that this type of program will only last for 60 seconds, and during the time, your drone will be the one that's causing the bubble to keep going. So, if your drone is destroyed, then the bubble will be ended early. The EMP also, because of how it was changed, will no longer break shields or have a slow effect when you're using this type of program. With these programs, like I said, Crypto would first click his Alt button, then he would get a prompt for 3 different AI programs, and then he would choose a program that will give the player a prompt to click their shoot button, making the EMP go off. What I mean by this is that how I would fully change it is that first he would click his Alt button, and then he would get the prompt like I said. He would choose the AI program, and then he would click somewhere to go with his drone button, and the drone flies there. Then he would press his shoot button on your system that you're using. So you would have to use 3 buttons there, but the reason why I changed it to the activation of your shoot button is because you already used the Alt button to choose the type of program that you're using. And then you would click your drone button to send your drone to location when you activate it. And then finally, I chose a shoot button just so it's more simplified. However, if that's more complicated, then we can change it, of course, to where you just use the all buttons and the drone button. And like I said, with these type of changes, I wanted to give them to Crypto so that he has more utility to his toolkit while also staying unique to himself. With these type of hacks, he has more type of a special maneuvers in combat, and both in it and outside of it. Meaning with the hacks I talked about before that help him get loot and prepare for the next fight. And pretty much that's it for the whole concept, guys. The whole concept around this is to give Crypto more uses with hacking and coding, and I thought with these they'll make him more unique to his own type of character. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love for you guys to share your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let's discuss. I would like to have a full discussion about it. If you did like this kind of idea though, it would mean a lot if you could like this video. And maybe if you could share it with the team themselves on Twitter. If enough people like it and enough people bring traction to it, you know, maybe we can add it to the game next season, or maybe the season after that. I am not that educated in coding, so I don't know how long it would take to add all of these type of hacks in, but I'm sure with enough time it could be added to the game if people really enjoy this type of a rework. So with that being said, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate it. And that being said, have a good day.
This place needs a little more contact. Get shot at. That's myself up. Grenade. Taking a moment to recharge my shields. Recharging shields. Targets over there. It's go time! Oh, care package, please! Fire, hostile over there. Your strength showed life. Be proud. Light ammo here. You got bamboozled. Syringe here. Thanks. Enemy spotted. One minute until close. Rings nearby. Target spotted. We could check out here. "45 seconds. Rings not too far. I'm okay with that. I need energy ammo. What do you think is over here? Pay attention, gang. Not far from the ring. We got 30 seconds left. Someone's out there! Engaging!
I am taking fire.
Taking fire!
TikTok, 10 seconds. Marking our surroundings. Reloading.
Look out! Grenade! Charging
Let's go this
shields.
way. Throwing through my grenade.
Ooh, that's gonna kick!
Yeah, getting shot.
Oh, sure, Abby. Give him my shield to recharge.
Taking fire.
No bamboozle. Got it! You got bamboozled. Give him my shield to
Scan the area.
Dube's old clock.
Trust in the All Father.
Taking fire! Fire!
In the ring. They go through field. Marking our surroundings.
Anybody need energy ammo?
I'll take that.
Marking our surroundings.
Charging up my shields.
Making contact with enemy. Scanning the area. Scanning the area. Contact with target.
Arcstar!
Yep.
Bless me with sight.
Got a bad guy.
Might be something good this way.
Reloading! Down, down.
You are the Apex Champions.